Welcome to Legacy Boxing Showcase, sponsored by Legacy Boxing Promotions, Pettis Collision. Ed Nunez along with Austin Colleen. Well, Austin, welcome back to the show. How are you?
Doing good. I'm excited, but I heard a little rumor going around that New Mexico University, Western New Mexico University, has a new voice, and it's you.
Yeah, it is.
And I heard you're going to be the voice of, you're going to be doing volleyball, football, and basketball. I don't know if that's accurate.
It is. That's absolutely accurate.
So why don't you fill us in with the blanks?
Well, I know I appreciate that. And, we went out there yesterday to Silver City, and as a longtime native New Mexican, I had never been there. And, quaint little small town, reminds me of Durango, Colorado a little bit. Climate was perfect yesterday. It's just that got that little fall breeze coming in. I actually had a chance to interview the football coach out there, Frank Tristan, and it went so good. Josh Brown was out there, our producer. He went out with us, Tom Dragmeister and Steve Davis, and we just had, I couldn't tell you what a great time we had. It was a great trip, and I'll tell you, I think one of the things that I was worried about was when I retired December 1st, what was I going to do? Now that's going to keep me busy for a while, because there's not going to be every week we're out there, but almost every other week. And then when basketball starts, we're covering men and women's basketball, along with volleyball and football. So there's a lot of information to gather, a lot of people to meet. But I think, yesterday after we were done with the trip, Josh and I talked about it was one of the best trips we ever had. And we've been on a lot of trips with Proview and covering, games around the state. But I'm really looking forward to it, and I appreciate you saying that, because I'm really looking forward to it. After yesterday, I got a picture of where I'm going to be, and I'm glad we went down there and did that trip, because I'd never been there. So now I see where the field's at. I saw where the basketball court's going to be at. I met some key people there. The athletic director there, Scott Noble, is you'd love him. He's a great guy. He's hard not to like. So he made us feel so welcome, and it was entertaining, and we had a good time. So I appreciate that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I was there about 5 years ago, and ironically, they had a baseball tournament going on, in spring baseball, I guess. But what division is Western New Mexico?
They're NAIA. They're NA. It's not major college ball, but it's college. It's college football, college basketball, and I'm really looking forward to it. He had all the pictures in the Mustang gym of all the teams in the past. Tom Dragmeister played at Western. His brother Dick was a legendary coach there. The basketball court is named after Dick Dragmeister. So Tom Dragmeister, after every stop we made, well, here's this, he knows all the sites. So he filled us in on the history and filled in a lot of blanks that I might have had. But I'll tell you, we're going down next week. We have a volleyball game on September 20th, and then a football game on Saturday, September. So, we're getting geared up. They're already sending me information from the sports information director about the volleyball team. They have stats and bios and, a lot of things that we can sink our teeth into.
A lot of people make the mistake of thinking small-time college sports is nothing more than an extension of high school, but that's not the case at all. They have excellent athletes.
No, you're right. You're right, and I can't wait to see that. That's going to be a lot of fun. Anyway, I sure appreciate that. But we're hoping to get Donald Sanchez in here as our guest. He's 4-2-0 with 3 KOs. He'll be fighting October 19th at the Hispanic Cultural Center. Talk a little bit about that, because the venue changed. This is Steve Garcia's card, right?
This is, Steve Garcia's fighters. Pat Holmes was the promoter.
Oh, Pat Holmes. This was supposed to be at the embassy.
Right, on the 12th. So now it's on the 19th at the Hispanic Cultural Center. I think it had something to do with the balloon festival and booking of activities.
Okay, so Pat Holmes moved it to the Hispanic Cultural Center.
I would assume Mike Adams probably still be the MC.
Oh, he's, I was called, there's people that are king of the cage, right? Mike's king of the ring as far as ring announcing in this state. Nobody does it better. And he, when I watch him, and I know Sebastian Noel I was going to do that. I was going to ask to do that first, but I was throwing a party for my wife that night. But Sebastian Noel did a great job. He actually, you mentioned that, met with Mike. So the pronunciations of the words Crespin, Paraduro, those are important to the Hispanic fighters. They really are. And so I thought Sebastian, he did a great job in meeting with Mike and finding out. And Sebastian's no one can imitate Mike Adams, like no one can imitate Jimmy Lennon, Michael Buffer. Everyone's got their own style. Jimmy Lennon was awesome, right? He's
Well,
awesome.
the father and the son.
So,
both.
yes, both of them.
Right.
Michael Buffer is his own guy, right? You can't even say get ready. You can't. That he's got that trademark. You can't even say that.
Heard if on these big heavyweight fights he gets $1 million. That's amazing.
Austin, I'll be honest with you. You know, after as long as he's been doing it, I would think he probably gets 5 million, 3 million. Again, I'm guessing we got 2 minutes left. We'll talk about that in this segment a little bit more. But anyway, they did change the. But when you mentioned great ring announcers, okay, so I remember Michael Buffer for Iran Barkley, Roberto Duran, right? 12 rounds for the WBC. I mean, just the way he says words, you get so psyched up. Tyson and Lewis, wasn't it Jimmy Lennon that had his own PA guy? Jimmy Lennon did it for Tyson, and then Michael Buffer did it for Lewis. They had alternating PA guys. So, you know, when you talk about, you know, guys that are great PA people in this state, and as far as boxing, it's Mike Adams. Mike Adams has been doing legacy. He does for Pat Holmes. You know, he missed one fight. He doesn't miss many. But when you see him in the ring, like I said, Sebastian Noel was wise to get some advice from Mike.
Well, I think what's amazing about Mike, last year when Josh Torres fought Christian Cabral, I mean, you didn't even need an announcer. The place was going crazy with emotion. And Mike grabbed the microphone and he brought it to a new level. And he just fed off the audience because he'd say something about Torres and his fans would go crazy. Then he'd say something about Cabral, and it was like a high school basketball game. That's the best way I could describe it, with the fan enthusiasm. And Mike milked every last ounce of energy out of the crowd.
Well, everybody on their feet for that fight. Torres beating Cabral with 1 second left in the seventh. They call it. I was there. That was one of the best fights I ever saw. You know, everybody's on their feet. We'll talk about some other boxing matches coming up and some other, you know, some national boxing as well when we come back on Legacy Boxing Showcase.
Perez Collision Center is a proud sponsor of Proview Networks and Albuquerque Boxing. Perez Collision Center offers expert knowledge on any of your auto body and paint needs. Give them a call today, 505-254-4655, or stop by for a visit at 2415 2nd Street Northwest in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Perez Collision Center.
This is Coach Borrego of the Charlotte Hornets. Hello to all you parents out there in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I want to congratulate 38 years for the AYBL. You guys are doing a great job. You've shaped a lot of lives, young men and women, and you'll continue to do that. Parents, get involved, sign your kid up. It's a great program. It helped shape who I am today, helped shape me as a basketball player, as a coach. So get out there, sign them up. Have a great season. Good luck to everybody.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of Proview Sports Network. Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Folks, there's no other way but to be all in. Either he's Lord of all or he is not Lord at all. And you can experience the real and authentic, true life change that only God can provide to humanity. See, when we truly encounter Jesus and purpose to know him and follow his teachings, #life change will occur.
Welcome back to Legacy Boxing Showcase, sponsored by Legacy Boxing Promotions. Pettis Collision, Ed Nunez along with Austin Colleen. We're expecting in studio Donald Sanchez. There might have been some kind of hang up there, but let's talk about Donald Sanchez again, 4-2-0, and there's gonna be some good fights, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. 3 KOs. Tell us a little bit about Donald Sanchez. No one knows a bit more about the boxers than you do.
Well, Donald made his reputation as a cage fighter. And unlike most cage fighters, Donald can get into the ring and knows how to sit down on his punches. It's a real problem because in a cage, you're on the ball of your feet because your legs are targets. In the boxing ring, they aren't. So you can sit down on your heels when you leverage your punches. And it's very difficult. I call it being ambidextrous, to be able to switch back and forth seamlessly. Donald is one of those fighters who can. And you'll notice that in his 4 victories, 3 have come by knockout. And he had in the boxing ring. And he had a tremendous fight with Christian Cabral about 5 years ago.
Talk about that.
Well, it was a tremendous fight. Most people thought Donald would win. And people didn't know that much about Christian Cabral, but I was friendly with him. And I thought he'd put up a better fight than people thought. And he won a close decision. And I say close because in the 6th round, Donald broke him in half with a body shot. And somehow Christian survived. And it was a 6-round fight. If that had been an 8-round fight, could Christian have taken on 2 more rounds? And Donald was having trouble. Christian is a good boxer. I don't know why when he fought Josh Torres, he elected to go toe-to-toe, because he's very gifted moving around the ring.
Well, he got suckered in, I think, in a way because, you know, Latin fighters, right? The machismo, you hit me, I'm gonna hit you back, and he got suckered into it. He did,
Yeah.
and you know, he was doing okay, but then Josh caught him with that shot, and 1 second left in the 7th round. The fight of the year, right? We talked about that as the fight of the year.
Well, we had at the Hall of Fame banquet.
Right.
And right now, this year's fight of the year, once again, is Josh Torres. Unfortunately, I can't remember the fighter he fought from Arizona, but it was a tremendous 10-rounder.
That was a toe-to-toe fight. Anyway, keep talking about Donald Sanchez. I think the one thing I want to ask you, and a lot of people want to know, is cage fighters, you mentioned back on your heels, as opposed to boxing in the ring, it's different, right? I mean, there is some, you incorporate boxing in the cage, but talk about that, because you said he lays back on the balls of his feet, and I was kind of interested to know what you meant by that, because everyone just thinks boxers can go into a cage and cage fighters can go in the boxing ring, and talk about that.
Very difficult for both athletes, from the boxing and from the cage. Because when you're in the cage, your entire body is a target, from the bottom of your shoes to the top of your head. And if you were to sit down on your heels in a cage, you'd be on your back so fast. A perfect example was when James Toney entered the cage, and he thought he could leverage his punches. And
Randy Couture. Couture.
Yes.
And how long did that last? It was 58 seconds of.
Well, what he did is he got him down, and wrestlers, when they can get you on your back, they're like boa constrictors. They just let you there, and you're struggling to get free, and of course you're wasting all your energy. And
we're talking about James lights out Tony.
Right.
Lights out.
And he just couldn't generate any power from his back because he wanted to be on his feet. He never did. And when he got exhausted, then Couture just pinned him, submitted him. Yeah,
that didn't last long.
Might have been a couple of minutes because Tony had a lot of pride, but it was one-sided.
Yeah, but there was your case in point right there about, you know, again, cage fighters going to the, or boxers thinking they could go to the cage. It was rumored at one time that Floyd Mayweather was going to take on Ronda Rousey. And, you know, again, that was years ago. And Ronda Rousey was exposed really for the bully that she really was when she got knocked out by Amanda Nunes and by Holly Holm first.
Right.
And then Amanda Nunes, and Mike Adams had said this when Amanda Nunes won the title, that she'd be the champion. I mean, Amanda Nunes is scary. She beat the heck out of Cyborg, right?
Who I thought would have beaten her.
Yeah, you know what? Amanda Nunes is scary. She really is. And so, you know, they had talked about, you know, a lot of people at that time when Ronda Rousey was at her dominating best, you know, tried to make a case that she could get in the ring with Floyd Mayweather, or Mayweather would get in the cage, and that would have been, Floyd so quick, he would have hit her twice, and that would have been over with. That would have been no contest at all.
But I'll tell you one thing, if one of these top female cage fighters was to get a boxer on his back, it might be an interesting contest.
That's true.
It,
'Cause they know all the leg kicks. They know the jiu-jitsu, tai chi, karate,
they tie
wrestling.
you up, and
Yeah.
all the fighter's power comes from leverage. If you take his leverage away, so.
And how many times did Ronda Rousey tie people up? We saw that. You know, Misha Tate pound out. We saw her when she was on a roll, and then she went to the WWE. But I'll tell you, when she was on a roll and dominating, she scared people. She really did, and she used that to her advantage, right? She would get in people when she fought Holly Holm, you know, fake preacher daughter or whatever she called her. You know, Misha
Right.
Tate scared Misha Tate. She scared them all until she found out someone that wasn't scared, and then that was the beginning of the end.
Well, the problem in her case, Ronda Rousey, the media put her on a high pedestal, and they blew her out of proportion. She was a god. And then when she lost, and the media does this with many athletes, not just in the cage, they take them the other way. Now they dig a big hole and bury them, call them frauds, and they're the ones who put them up on a pedestal, and they're so quick to knock them off.
You know what? And it's funny you said that, because it seems to me that the media loves to build you up, baby, just to let you down. They love to do it, right? As soon as you're doing great, they love it. But the minute that there's a pock mark in the road, they love to write about that, man.
The athlete generally doesn't ask for that, but the media does it anyways. And then once they lose, oh, he was never that good, or she was overrated.
And we've seen that happen, certainly in boxing with Ali, Leonard, Tyson, Lennox Lewis. Tyson Fury will fight Otto Wallen, I believe, this Saturday. We'll talk about that. Deontay Wilder, that fight's looming next year. We can talk about all that when we come back on Legacy Boxing Showcase.
Dreamstyle Remodeling has been wowing homeowners in New Mexico since 1989. Selected as Best Custom Home Remodeler for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Albuquerque Journal, we're also your exclusive provider for top home improvement brands like Renewal by Anderson, Four Seasons, Blaze King, and many others. Founded and headquartered in Albuquerque, Dreamstyle Remodeling is family-owned and now employs more than 500 people across the southwestern U.S. In fact, we've helped more than 60,000 homeowners improve their home in New Mexico, Arizona, California, Idaho, and West Texas. We're committed to providing a superior customer experience. We've earned 4.6 stars with hundreds of online reviews and have an A+ with the BBB. Dreamstyle Remodeling is a proud supporter of UNM Athletics. Visit our beautiful 10,000 square foot showroom at 1460 Renaissance Boulevard across from Sam's Club, or dreamstyleremodeling.com to make your home remodeling dreams come true.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
Welcome back to Legacy Boxing Showcase, sponsored by Legacy Boxing Promotions, Pettis Collision. I'm Ed Nunez, along with my co-host, Austin Colleen. Austin, Donald Sanchez, unfortunately, probably couldn't make it today, but we've had some time, fun, just ad-libbing, talking. Boxing means a lot to you. I love it too. I don't know near as much as you do. By the way, Colleen'sCorner.com. Go there if you want to know some boxing information. You usually have an article after any major fight, and that includes Hobbs, Legacy Boxing Promotions, and Holmes Promotions as well. Austin, go ahead.
Well, on the 19th of October, there's going to be a fight at the Hispanic Cultural Center, and that's a nice indoor arena. I don't know if you've ever been
I haven't
there.
seen it. I know there was one out there last year, and I was on my honeymoon, my 30th anniversary, so I had to miss that, but I understand it's very nice.
Oh, really? In fact, they had nice balcony and everything. So the fight originally, I think, was going to be at Embassy Suites on the 12th of October. So they moved it there. Steve Garcia, who's an excellent boxing trainer, had Steve on the right, and his assistant trainer, George, on the left. I am embarrassed I can't remember George's last name. I know I made one big mistake with George. He loves the Oakland Raiders. And I said, how about them Patriots? Well, he...
How'd that go over?
Not well. But I realized this guy didn't like me too much, so we made friends. We're cool now. And I apologize, George, I can't remember your last name, but he's a big plus to Steve Garcia.
We'll talk about that because there's some other fights. Also fighting on the card will be teammates Jordan, oh my God, Garcia. There's the team picture. Go ahead,
Right.
Austin. You
Okay.
know all these boxers.
Well, right in front you have Jordan Garcia, and that's Steve Garcia's daughter. On the interesting, if you have female fighters, there just isn't a pool of fighters to work from. So it's really hard to get matches for a fighter. We have Amy Salinas down in Las Cruces, who's a tremendous fighter.
She was on the last card up at Buffalo Thunder.
Which I got into trouble. I thought she was lucky to get a draw even when she got a unanimous decision, and I heard from her people.
Sure.
And
That wouldn't be the first, nor will it be the last.
no, but hey, I just call them the way I see
Right,
them.
right.
And so Jordan is very good, and she's 3-0-1. Got a beautiful left jab. And female boxers today their skills are equal to the men. 20 years ago they looked like cats in an alley, but that's not the case now. I'm as excited about watching a female fight as a male fight. They're really good.
Yeah, no, we've seen some great female fights. Keep going, and you talk about this. This is the match that intrigues us, I believe. Lorenzo Benavidez facing Bryant McLean, the son of former champion Sean McLean. Talk about that fight. Bryant McLean 5-1 and 2-1 KO. Go ahead and talk about that fight.
That's a 6-rounder, and I just heard about that this morning.
Lorenzo Benavidez, by the way, that's Bryant McLean. I'm
Right.
sorry. Lorenzo Benavidez was on the bottom with his glasses.
Right.
Go ahead.
And Lorenzo, when he started off, weighed about 230 pounds. For this fight, he's going to weigh 165 pounds.
But he's come a long way.
Oh, but he's only 5'2", and he's a tremendous body puncher, and he slips punches because he's 5'2". You're used to swinging at somebody that's 5'8", 5'10".
Talk about that left hand.
Oh, he throws these beautiful uppercuts, and some of the fighters make the mistake. I don't know why they lay on the ropes and let him come inside. They think he's a joke, and then it's too late.
I think at one of the ones at the Manuel Lujan building, he knocked his opponent out with a body shot.
Oh,
right to the midsection.
Yeah.
And when I looked at it, I'm like, well, I'm not in there. I can't say how, it didn't look that hard, right? Let me get hit and I might be dead. But yeah, he knocked his opponent out, and a bigger opponent, by the way,
Right.
knocked him out the body shot.
And his opponent, Brian McLean, Brian has, I believe he's 5 wins, 1 loss, and 2 draws. And he's only got the 1 knockout, but he's a volume puncher. Every one of his fights is a war. He just gets in, he isn't interested in clinching, and he just figures he can run you out of the ring. And I think this fight is gonna be phenomenal. But Brian McLean's gonna need a left jab. He cannot afford to go toe-to-toe with Lorenzo.
Trained by his father, Sean, right?
Right.
Okay, so
We
Sean
got a-
McLean, one of the good champions we've had here. Go ahead.
Well, we got a lot of father-son combinations. We got Fidel Maldonado and his son, and Aaron Perez and his boy.
Jordan Garcia and Steve Garcia.
Yeah. So, it adds an extra element because you're talking to your kid in the corner. And I could never handle that. I'd want someone else to handle if any of my kids wanted to be fighters. But if you're comfortable doing that, but you can't look at them as your sibling, or as your son or daughter.
That's hard to do, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Joe Frazier trained Marvis. Marvis didn't have what Joe did. There's also one more fighter, Santiago Giron, 1-0-0 with 1 KO. Where's
Okay.
Santiago? Where's Santiago in that picture?
He's on the right center in the white shirt. And of course, so I'll talk about him and then I'll get to Donald.
Got about 2 minutes left. Go ahead.
Okay, well, he has about 150 amateur fights. He was the national, I believe, silver mittens champion. So he turned pro, and he had a tough opponent, and he destroyed him in less than a minute, I think. And it's all based on distance. A great fighter knows when they can touch you and you can't touch them. And he nailed him with a left jab as soon as the fight started.
Really?
And he took the kid apart.
Interesting.
And
He must have seen something. Keep going.
well, and then I don't know who he's fighting this time, but I feel about him like I felt about Aaron Perez. They don't need the usual buildup. They're ready to fight tough guys. And I'm hopefully he'll get a tough opponent his second fight.
Okay, we got about a minute left. Talk about Aaron Angel Baby Pettis. He's going to have an opportunity. Talk about that.
Well, he's going to be on Showbox, and at the end of this month, and it's in Texas. And Isidro Castillo has set up the undercard, and he got him on the undercard. And the people at Showbox are very aware that he's a hot prospect. So hopefully, if there's an early knockout, Aaron can get some television time.
You know what? We love that kid. He's absolutely awesome. So that's going to be a great opportunity. But real quick, Otto Wallen, Tyson Fury, your prediction. I think Tyson Fury wins that fight.
Well, Otto will have to be the second coming of Max Schmeling. Otherwise, I don't see it. Because Tyson Fury is actually a pretty good fighter.
What kind of revitalization after he hurt his foot, the substance abuse problems, Tyson Fury has made quite the comeback.
Amazing. Where do you find a sparring partner that's 6'9"?
You know what? We'll see. He's the lineal champion. We talked about that on 610 on the mic with Mike Adams, the lineal champion. We'll see what happens on Saturday night. That'll do it for this week's edition of Legacy Boxing Showcase. We'll be back in 2 weeks. For producer Josh Brown, Austin Colleen, I'm Ed Nunez. We'll see you next time on Legacy Boxing Showcase.